It was better than Anderson Silva. It just wasn't as technical, but that was the greatest front kick knockout we've ever seen.
Unbelievable.
Easily the greatest front kick knockout we've ever seen.
Unbelievable. But DC, congratulations, of course, were in order for you as well. Hall of Fame, and it looked like, you got pretty emotional when it was right out. So I guess can you just take us back to that moment? Like, did you instantly realize? When did you realize what was happening? What was the emotion?
So when they said, let's welcome the next member, I don't know if do they normally do two modern wing athletes or something? No. They don't, right? So I saw Khabib, so I had no idea. I thought it was going to be Khabib. And then I saw my back on the promo I did years ago, and I kind of threw my headset. Rogan looked like, what just happened? Then he looked up and saw what was going on, and he was like, oh my God, congratulations. So it was a bit of a surprise. I don't know how they kept this from me.
Well, I was going to ask. I think a lot of people are like, he knew he's on the broadcast team. He had to know this.
No one told me anything. They let me talk about Khabib going into the Hall of Fame before the show. And I was like, because Khabib and I compete in everything. And I was like, well, you're in the Hall of Fame and I'm not, so congratulations, champ. And little did I know, a few hours later, I was going to be getting the invitation. So
now you can take that back, right?
Well, yeah, he's still undefeated, right? So it's like I don't have him yet. Yeah.
I guess, can you just sum up what it does mean to you? I mean, I'm sure it's still kind of processing. You weren't ready for it, but to know Hall of Fame, you know what I mean? You can't ever take that away. What does that mean?
I always said things like heroes and champions, they fade, but your legacy stays forever. And this is a part of my legacy, right? Even when my days are gone, and my kids and my kids' kids can always take their kids to Vegas and see their dad in that Hall of Fame, right? Like, to be remembered is a truly, truly special thing. And I think with this, it's like the icing on the cake of a lifetime of things that I've been able to accomplish. It's very special.
Awesome. Obviously, you'll have time to put together a speech and a lot to talk about. But I guess, just as you sit here now, what is it that you want people to remember? If there's one lasting memory, one lasting thing about you as your legacy, how do you want to be remembered?
I fought hard. I was never the biggest. I was always the smallest. And I made do with what I had, right? I wrestled my ass off. I fought with all the tools that I was blessed with, cardio and just hard work. Like, if there was never anything given. I never cheated. I mean, obviously, outside of the whole thing where people think I touched that towel, but people still believe that, which is so stupid. I don't know how many times I have to tell you I didn't touch the towel. But outside of that, there were no drugs tied to my legacy. There was no questionable things that I did outside of people unjustly accusing me of touching the towel. It was there. Who doesn't touch the towel when it's there?
DC, just curious about your job tonight. When the co-main event is playing out, how hard is it to sort of commentate?
Well, Rose and Carl are going to be pissed off at us because we just had to kind of call it like it is. No one is above criticism, and that fight was to be criticized. Here's the problem, right? If you're Rose Namajunas, you go home and you are really disappointed, because you kind of played chance with your championship. Because in those first 3 rounds, I don't know how anybody judged it. I don't know how any judge, listen, John Anik, who is literally one of the smartest people I know, goes, the very last scoring criteria is octagon control, which no one ever gets to. Tonight, that's the only way that they could have judged those first 3 rounds and given them to Carla.
Wasn't a fun experience.
It wasn't. It's just a game of chance, and I just didn't quite understand how either corner could feel confident in their advice to their athletes. It was a rough one to watch, and I think that first fight, the takedowns really froze Rose, because on so many occasions she's given us tremendous performances.
Congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
DC, congrats again, champ. I wonder, has anybody special reached out to you over the last few hours since this news went public?
My son texted me immediately. My wife, my kids, they all texted me. That is the thing. All my coaches, my manager, everybody, all the people that I love the most, all the people that played a part in me doing this. I always said, it takes a village to build a champion, and I had a village. I mean, I lived in Bob and them's house for a year, and I wrecked this car on multiple occasions, but I just kept working, and to Coach Hav and Leandro and Bob and my manager Dwayne, like it really was like. It took so many people to help me. I mean, Cassandra's sitting here, and her and I fought daily in their house because I was such a mess. Like, she's like, "You're eating Carl's Jr. again." So really special thanks to my nutritionist because they actually got me down to 205 every time. Like, so it really took a village.
I know in these type of moments, we're going to make you get reflective. So I wonder for you, I mean, you start late in this journey. Obviously, you had the whole Olympics and everything.
I was almost 31 years old when I started doing this thing, which is crazy.
Did you exceed your own expectations? You're a Hall of Famer.
I mean, it's the highest honor that we can ever achieve in sport, right? I didn't have this dream as a kid, so this came late. I was almost convinced to fight. And then once I started to do it, anytime I have a goal to chase, I do my damnedest to try to be the best that I can at it, whether it's fighting, now it's commentary. I want to be the best in that space. And so I worked tirelessly. And I was lucky because I had some great coaches. I had a lot of people that loved and cared about me that allowed for me to get to where I went. I mean, guys, we have 2 Hall of Famers in 1 year from the same gym. Think about the level of coaching that we got inside the walls of the American Kickboxing Academy. It's like nothing else. A lot of things had to go right for me, and they did.
But then last one from me.
And partners, right? Cain Velasquez, who's now faced with the worst possible situation. He carried me to heights I never thought. And in all my biggest moments, he was right next to me, right? So now as he is on this journey and in this fight that he's in, I try to support him as best I can. So every time you see him go to court or something, I will be there because he was always there for me.
Does it break your heart to see what he's going through right now?
It kills me. It absolutely kills me as a father to see what he is going through. Yeah, kills me. But I get to talk to him, which makes me one of the lucky ones. I've gotten to visit him, and I get calls from him. So I'm one of the lucky people that still get to have him in their life.
Well, then last question for me. You obviously have a lot of accolades over the 11 years you were doing this. I just wonder, what's your favorite moment? I mean, what's your proudest moment over the course of this whole journey for you?
It's easy to say becoming the double champion, right? Because that is going to be my crowning achievement. But just going through the fight and taking and rolling with the punches, right? From going down to 205 and having Rashad Evans teed up, a former champion to truly make an impact. It ends up being Patrick Cummins, the guy that was essentially called the Starbucks barista. 2 days, John Jones fails a drug test, being able to fight Anderson Silva. So just rolling with the punches and really just dealing with what I had in front of me. Like, I can't make my own route. Right? I didn't choose to beat Anthony Johnson for the championship. It was the opportunity I had, and I took advantage of it. So just really being able to adjust. And I think in this career, if you can adjust, you can accomplish some truly great things. But, yeah, after all that, becoming the double champion was pretty fucking cool, too. And then doing it again in New York, winning that belt, and then giving me 2 belts again. Like this. It was crazy. Sometimes I would literally wake up, or I'd come to these things, right? I haven't done this in years. I would come to these, and I'm just like walking up with my team, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, how the fuck did I get here? It just was that crazy.
So nice you had to do it twice. Congrats.
Thank you.
Hey, DC, over here. Congratulations. I don't know if we're supposed to stick to Hall of Fame questions, but how did it feel to get the crew back together and be with Joe Rogan and John Anik for the first time since January?
That was nice. Being back with the guys was nice. We call the pay-per-views for a reason, right? There's a chemistry between John Rogan and I, and it works. And when they put us together, you didn't know if it would. And there are a lot of people that probably don't like it, but the vast majority of people enjoy the banter. They enjoy the personalities, and it felt good to be sitting next to those guys because I haven't called a fight with Rogan for almost 4 months. I haven't called a fight with Anik, one in Columbus. I've done my other 2 with Brendan Fitzgerald, who is a very talented broadcaster himself, Dominic Cruz, and Paul Felder. But it's just something to the big event, having the big personalities all at that table.
And then back to the Hall of Fame. The UFC Hall of Fame, it's not like the MLB Hall of Fame. It's not like you steal a couple bases, hit a couple home runs, and you're in. It's a very select few. So when you look at those names in that Hall of Fame, what are the emotions and thoughts that come to your mind when you see all these the great guys, the legends?
I made it, right? Like, you know, you win a UFC championship, it's so difficult. I mean, people don't even comprehend how hard it is to win a UFC championship, much less win a belt, defend a belt, win all these other belts. Because every guy in there, right, is in there because they deserve it. So it is truly a pleasure to sit alongside these people, like all these people that I've looked up to for so long. And every time, like I said, I'll be called the UFC Hall of Famer. It means the world to me.
Congrats, DC. You deserve it.
Thank you.
DC.
And one quick, is there any thoughts on who's going to do the induction speech for you?
I hadn't even thought of it far in advance. I mean, I got to make sure Habib doesn't take my guy, right? We got two guys from the same gym getting to do it, so special.
On that similar question, who's going to be the one to close the Hall of Fame show? Who's going to go on last?
I have no idea. I got two belts.
I was going to say, make the case why it should be.
We'll be arguing about that. Dana will have to sit between Habib and I as we try to decide, because we are both going to be yelling and screaming. I'm usually pretty like, whatever. You go ahead.
Maybe
But
he inducts you and you induct him.
Maybe we do that. That'll be fun.
That one's on the house.
There you go, my man. How much do I owe you? I ain't got no money. I make a lot less than I did fighting.
Congrats, DC. For some of us who weren't hearing the broadcast, how would you describe that 3-minute madness between Gaethje and Oliveira?
Listen. The lightweight champion of the world has a name, and it's Charles Oliveira. And my God, how good is that dude? It's insane what he is. We sit there like flabbergasted, like, what happened? I just talked to Dana as he was leaving. I go, dude, what happened to Charles Oliveira? Like, how did he become this? Like, that's all you can ask is, like, how did he become this guy? He is legitimately one of the best fighters I have ever seen in my entire life. And we have seen dudes like Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Khabib Nurmagomedov. So when you start calling one of the best you've ever seen in your life, that is high praise. But he gets hurt, and he's also got some built-in traps, right? You hurt Charles Oliveira, you got to take a step back, because if you jump on him, dude might submit you. So it was a very telling thing in the finishing sequences. Justin Gaethje hurts him, has to let him up. But Charles lays there for a few minutes, covers a little bit. Charles hurt Justin, jumped right on it, went to punch him and missed. Immediately takes his back. But if Justin goes and does that and misses, next thing you know, Charles is on his back. So he's got these built-in, like, traps that you have to avoid whenever you're trying to approach him. So it makes him very, very dangerous. Dude is like, it's crazy because I can't explain it. And Carnival was happening as I was walking over here because him and his team were going nuts.
Oh, quick one for me. Congratulations. Javier Mendez just wanted me to relay a message to you and let you know he loves you. He's very proud of your very well-deserved induction.
Yeah, he's a man. I love Coach Jav, and I wish he was still there whenever it happened, because Bugoy fought early, so they probably took off, but it would have been nice to hug a person that was there the entire journey. I hugged Cassandra, but having Jav there too, like, Cassandra gave me the huff and puff. Yeah. But no, like Javier, like just, the hours in the gym and just the training, it's his gym. It was his gym. They gave us a home. Whereas her and Bob gave me a house and a home. That's his gym, and he opened his doors for me, and he's always been such a special part of my journey. I love him.